Hey everybody, how's it going? alecandstuff here, and welcome back to Quick Thoughts, a short segment in which I give you some rapid-fire impressions on the things that I find interesting. And today's video is going to be all about the final Super Smash Bros. Ultimate themed Direct that aired recently, because holy guacamole, is there a lot of stuff to talk about here. So for those that might not know, Nintendo went live just this past week with yet another Smash Bros. Ultimate themed Direct, only this time we were treated to 40 whole minutes of Smash Bros. Goodness. Sakurai, you're insane! Anyways, there's a lot of stuff to unpack here, so we'll just go ahead and start with the first announcement of the Direct, which was the reveal trailer for both Ken and Incineroar joining the roster as playable fighters. Now, I said this during our livestream reaction, but back when Ryu was first revealed as DLC for Smash 4, I was naturally very excited. I'm not a huge Street Fighter fan by any means, but seeing that series being represented in my favorite fighting game of all time is a really cool thing to see. However, I always found it very odd that there was never any reference to Ken, who is, alongside Ryu, one of the most recognizable characters of the Street Fighter series. With that said though, I'm glad he's finally getting a chance to shine as an Echo Fighter in Ultimate, and although I have no plans to play him a whole lot since I'm a pretty terrible Ryu player as it is, I do think that at the end of the day we can all be thankful that this is the Ken that we got. I mean seriously, why does he look so much better in Ultimate than he does in his own game? What? Interestingly enough, during that same trailer, we also see Incineroar make his way into the ring. Now, aside from being Tony the Tiger's buff cousin, Incineroar being included as a fighter for Ultimate, it just makes sense. Every single Smash game since the original N64 version has added at least one or more new Pokemon to the roster, and Ultimate is no exception. Now, obviously we could debate all day about which of the now over 800 Pokemon would be the best choice for a new fighter, but when it comes to Incineroar, I think it makes the most logical sense. Incineroar is from the relatively recent Sun and Moon games, and has a design that fits well within the realm of a fighting game like Smash Bros. Incineroar also has a few unique attributes to his moveset, like a grab that varies in effectiveness depending on timing. Incineroar strikes me as one of those characters that I'll just have to play for a little bit before passing judgment, but if this trailer is anything to go off of, he's got a hilariously sassy attitude about him. Following the reveal of Ken and Incineroar, we finally get to hear more about the mysterious Spirits mode, which has been something we've all been wanting to hear more about since we saw the infamous blurry screenshot a few directs ago. Now, Sakurai actually does go pretty in-depth with Spirits, but just to break it down simply, Spirits are sort of like the stickers from Brawl's Subspace Emissary, and sort of like Amiibo as they were in Smash 4. You can equip them to your fighters to give them stat boosts, equip certain support spirits to give your primary spirits some added effects, and you can even train your spirits to give their attributes some added strength. In addition to being able to equip these spirits to your fighters, you can also use them to participate in, appropriately titled, Spirit Battles. Spirit Battles are seemingly inspired by the event battles from Melee, in that each one gives you unique scenarios and win conditions, all of which are inspired by the spirits your enemies have equipped. One of my favorite examples of this was actually shown during the Direct, which was a fight against the quote-unquote Able Sisters from Animal Crossing that actually ended up just being 3 different colored Sonics. Overall, I think this mode is a really exciting concept, especially with the incorporation of Spirit Battles. Not only does it give you a wider variety of scenarios to fight in, but the sheer amount of franchise representation in this mode is insane. Just in the Direct alone, there are spirits from franchises like Fatal Frame, Mega Man, Eternal Darkness, and even Osu Tatake Ouendan, just to name a few. Whew. Alright, so moving on from Spirits, we also got to hear a bit more about the game's online. Now, there were a few things discussed about online, but my biggest takeaways from them starts with the removal of For Fun and For Glory in favor of a new system that basically has you set your preferences for rules, and from there, the game will attempt to match you up against players with similar preferences. Keyword being attempt. I think this is a good idea in theory. However, for me, my biggest concern is whether or not the system is going to be able to reliably match you up against players who want the same thing, but I suppose that's something we'll just have to wait and see for ourselves. It was also confirmed that the game is going to be utilizing PvP connections over dedicated servers, which really isn't a surprise at this point. However, Sakurai did go on to mention that the system is going to prioritize matching you against players that are geographically closer in distance, which will hopefully alleviate the latency that you'll see in your matches online. Additionally, one last thing that I found interesting about the online portion was the introduction of elite battles. Elite battles are something that players get access to once they reach a certain skill level in online play, which seems to me like the new For Glory mode. But the most interesting part of this was how Sakurai did go on to mention that the development team is going to be paying close attention to the results of these elite battles and balancing the game based off of what they see, which I think is really great, especially for a game like Smash Bros. And moving right along, we also got official confirmation that downloadable content will be coming to the game in the form of 5 DLC packs. Each DLC pack will include a new fighter with their own stage, as well as additional music tracks to go along with it. This is actually pretty incredible because if you think about it and do the math, let's see, carry the 2, add 5 to the power of Donkey Kong. Okay, so after all is said and done, if you include all the fighters in the base game and the proposed DLC, that brings the total number of fighters from 72 in the base game to a total of 78 after DLC. That's insanity! Now, at this point you might be wondering, but Alec, if there are 72 fighters in the main game and 5 as DLC, doesn't that make the actual total 77 instead of 78? Yes, that normally would be the case. However, shortly after the game's launch, the Direct also revealed that Nintendo is going to be offering Piranha Plant as a free fighter if you buy the game before January. And as far as my thoughts on Piranha Plant as a fighter, I'll just go ahead and let my reaction, I'll just let it speak for itself. Oh man, Mario's got a serious face on him. He's ready. He's ready to fight. What? Piranha Plant joins the battle. No, I'm just kidding. What the heck? Oh! I was kidding! What? Oh my god, it's got little feet underneath the pipe! What is going on? Oh my god! What is this? What the heck? Yes, hilariously enough, Piranha Plant is joining the roster, and I am surprisingly really excited about that. For starters, the reveal trailer for Piranha Plant was the most genius of fake-outs we've seen yet. PD Piranha also makes an appearance as Piranha Plant's final smash, and to top it all off, it just really cracks me up every time I see Piranha Plant start chasing its enemies around with its little feet. I think that is genuinely hilarious, and I cannot wait to give Piranha Plant a try whenever it's released. I mean, come on, just look at him go! And finally, we have what is undoubtedly the biggest reveal from the entire Direct, and that is the brand new adventure mode that goes by the name World of Light. Quite clearly inspired by the subspace emissary from Brawl, World of Light is the large-scale, cinematic, universal crossover we've all been waiting for. The trailer that was shown off in the Direct, while leaving more questions than answers for me, featured some beautifully animated CG versions of a large portion of the game's roster, some of them even fully voice acted. Not to mention the game's breathtaking vocal rendition of the game's main theme. Seriously, this song gave me some serious Jump Up Superstar vibes, simply because of how catchy and infectious it is. Now, I think it's basically a fact at this point that Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is going to be the biggest, most hyped Smash Bros. Game to date. And when you start to consider all of the content that this game is going to be packing itself with, like every single fighter being included from past games, better online, support for DLC in the future, and a proper story mode, I have little to no doubt in my mind that this is poised to be one of the greatest Smash Bros. Games of all time. Alright, and with that, I think that's about it for this video. We've covered a lot here, but the crazy part is that there's even more stuff to talk about, like the removal of trophies in favor of spirits, and the Smash World app for smartphones, just to name a couple, which is why I wanted to pass the question on to you guys. What was your favorite reveal from the Direct? Were you satisfied with what was shown, or did you feel like there was something missing that perhaps wasn't talked about? Feel free to let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, as I'd love to discuss with you guys. Okay, I'm gonna go watch that World of Light trailer a few more hundred times, but before I go, I've got just one thing left to say, and that is, of course, as always, I'm alecandstuff, and I will see you all again real soon. Bye!